I'm an expansion.
Great. Hi, I'm Greg, friend. I work at Nativo. I'm the VP of Content Strategy and Insights, as you heard Sarah say. We pride ourselves on being able to help brands make meaningful connections with consumers via content. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Erin Levzow here, Levzow. Just talked about this. CMO of the Ice Cream Museum. And we're going to talk about the experiential marketing. Let's start with that. Like, y'all have a cool thing that you've got going on. When you think about experiences, what is your ideal experience that you're trying to get one of your patrons to have?
Good question. So Museum of Ice Cream, if you don't know it, we have 4 permanent locations. We just announced Miami, but we're in Singapore, Chicago, Austin, New York City, and all really positive. Like here we're on the Mag Mile in the Tribune Building. New York City, we're on Broadway and Soho, Western Prada. Austin, Domain, Singapore, in a great area in Dempsey, and then Miami will be in Miami World Center, right next to where the Heat plays. And we have like 3 more locations coming after that. We're also opening other experiential concepts that have nothing to do with ice cream, which is really exciting and fun. But we exist to unite and inspire through imagination and connection. So what you didn't hear in there was ice cream. Ice cream is the channel that gets us there. And what we love is bringing people together to play like kids. And so that's the experience we want people to have, is to be able to play like you're a kid again and have human connection. We live in a world where we're void of human connection. When's the last time you look up and you look someone in the eye and went, I see you? And we don't do that. And that's really what we exist to do. Kids do it really well, right? A kid, my son walks up to another kid and he's like, you want to swing? And they're like, yeah, I want to swing. And he's like, you want to be best friends? And he's like, yeah, I do. And it's done. They're best friends. And what if we could do that as adults? What if there were no, this ability to drop this facade or this wall that we all hold because we've had trauma or something else go on in our life, and be able to go, you know what? It's okay, and I see you, and I want to connect with you. And that is what we want the experience to be. I spoke recently to a company. We were talking about activating, because we show up with sprinkle pools when we go places, and we're like, you want to play? Get in the pool, right? Like I had NYPD the other day. I was like, you want to get in the pool? Let's get in the pool. And he's like, I don't think I'm allowed. I was like, says who? Get in the pool. And we're playing. And we did. We had some great photos with NYPD playing in the pool. Like, dude, anyway, we take these sprinkle pools. We connect with people everywhere. And I was talking to someone, and they go, what do you sell? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, like when I work with M&Ms, M&Ms gives away M&Ms, and then people try it, and they go, and they show up, and they buy it. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. And he goes, so what do you sell? And I was like, joy. I sell happiness. I sell human connection. I don't actually sell ice cream. We partner with ice cream. We partner with Duff. We partner with Ben & Jerry's. We partner with all these companies and bring them in to share their pride. We sell joy.
Yeah. How do you thinking about that marketing strategy leading up to that, right? Your customers are buying tickets online, right? And sort of committing up front, hey, I want to go have this experience. How do you communicate that to them? And so you mentioned sprinkle pools, right? But how do you bring that experience out to the public to convince them to come in and live it up?
Yeah, what we find is people don't necessarily understand all the time what they're getting. They're like, oh, where's the history? And we do. We have Museum of Modern Ice Cream inside of our Museum of Ice Creams where you can learn about ice cream. In fact, Chicago, very well known for Dove chocolate and Dove ice cream. And we talk a lot about that in our museum here. But we have to show them video. We have to show them the experience they're going to have. Now, a lot of times the hook is unlimited ice cream. Right? It's great. Or having a pink teenie, which in case you've never tried a pink teenie, and once you get past the name, it might be the best alcoholic beverage I've ever had in my life. And it's almost all alcohol. And it's made with glitter and cotton candy. So it's wonderful. But yeah, we have to show video. We have to really explain the unlimited childlike play and the unlimited ice cream. And once people get there, they leave and they go, oh man, this was amazing. And what I find is, if you've heard of Museum of Ice Cream, people are like, oh, it was amazing. Someone came up to me earlier and she goes, so I've been there a lot. I love that. I think that's amazing. She's like, hold on, let me show you all my pictures. And I was like, I was so happy. I was like, we're in the banana room, which in case you ever wanted to stay in a room with like bananas hanging all around you, like it's wonderful. So people mistake it because they see so many images on social media where they go, oh, it's about taking pictures. No, it's not. But what we know is that when you make a memory, you want to capture that memory. And that's what is on social media.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're starting from a pretty nice, easy point, right? You got ice cream, you got games, you got big sprinkle pools. What's your suggestion for other brands thinking about how to show something, right? It might not be that they're selling joy, but to make some sort of more meaningful connection with consumers.
Absolutely. So one of the things, I recently talked to a massive retailer, and he brought me in because they sell their product in retail stores, and he goes, we want to understand how you think about experiential marketing, which is sometimes different than product marketing. And he goes, I want you to talk to my marketing team. And I'm like, okay. And I show up and he goes, there's 750 of us. And I was like, oh, cool. Should I have prepared something? But we talked about it and I said, I'm curious to know why you think I do it better than you do it. Your company makes way more money than my company. And he goes, you lead with experience. The product is secondary. He goes, as retailers, we constantly are trying to flip that script and say, let's lead with experience instead of just leading with a product. And that's what I think we do really well through video, through being able to show that experience.
Yeah. Do you think everybody should do that? Like, should everybody have an experience that they're putting forward? Should everybody be including experiential marketing as part of their strategy?
I think it's really important only because it's the story you tell. And a product is just a product unless a feeling connects with it. And the feeling could be whatever that product is fulfilling. So like insurance, I need insurance because you're going off of my feeling of fear of what happens if I don't have insurance or like, you know, get arrested or whatever. But yeah, too many. But it's a feeling that you have to connect to, and that comes through the experience.
Yeah. How do you measure that? Right? So you're out there making big pools and sprinkles. Is it working? How do you know?
Well, it helps when we sell more tickets. So that's helpful. No, everything we do, ironically, except for when you're in the museum, is digital. And when I say that, doesn't mean we don't do out of home and all those things. Like if you were to fly into Chicago O'Hare or Austin recently, all summer long, every baggage claim terminal said Museum of Ice Cream. Everywhere you went, because we know that, again, if you know us, you love us. Otherwise, we have to get to you. We have to tell you the story. And we have to break through the clutter, as Fernando said so well. And it's really hard with all the stories out there. We do measure it. We try and measure everything. Sometimes it's foot traffic, which isn't necessarily as great as I'd like it to be. Sometimes it's being able to truly track the customer through the interwebs, right? Which we all know that ship is sailing, may or may not be this year or 10 years from now, depending on when they get their shit together. But we do try and track everything. Sometimes it is questionable. Sometimes we have to do like pre-post nets of control with finance to try and pull out variability, but we're constantly testing and evolving, and the environment is continuously changing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Two things come to mind. One, certainly the pandemic probably sucked a whole lot for you guys, but has maybe created an interesting rebound. Consumers, people craving that kind of connection that you were talking about, face-to-face, hand-in-hand playing. The second is you're in a bunch of different markets. Does that change how you think about the experiences? Does that experience or the way you talk about them change because of that?
Those are two really different questions.
Super different.
So let's start with the first one. Yeah, COVID sucked. COVID sucked for all of us, right? Like I was working at a hotel company at that time, and I was laying off person by person. You're like, it's only 2 weeks, just leave your stuff here. We just have to like stay at home for 2 weeks. So it sucked for everyone. No one wants to plan sprinkles when you think you're going to die. So it definitely shut everything down. And now it's it was not top of mind at that point. But yes, have we came back and even stronger? even before the pandemic, there were so many Harvard Business Review journal articles on the epidemic of loneliness, right? And we've seen it get progressively worse, right? It comes with technology, it comes with all this stuff. And there are times where it's so sad when you're sitting at home and you go, I love my kids, I just don't want to be around them anymore. Who should I reach out to? Whether you're should I start writing to a pen pal in jail? What should I do? I just want to connect. And so it started to bounce back, and we've seen it really help, because now I think people are actively going and looking for that connection, and they're realizing just a water cooler conversation isn't true real connection, but it can start there.
Yeah.
And it can start with having to reach out and go, you know what, I do want to go to dinner, or I do want to take a walk with you, and let's talk about how you're really doing.
Do you think brands are too impersonal? Right? Like there's so much, over the past several years, so much data, so much targeting, so much personalization, but how real or how meaningful or how connected is it actually?
I don't think all brands are too impersonal. I think it's about what the core values are of the brand. So very off, topic kind of. So I've protested Lululemon for about its entire existence, because why would I need to pay $100 for leggings when I could pay $4 for leggings?
They're really comfortable though.
So I had some Holy leggings recently, and my friend said to me, she goes, I'm glad your basic dress hasn't changed you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you can't afford pants without holes. And I said, and so she sent me a Lululemon gift card, and I was protesting. My 13 and 11-year-old were like, Mom, we need Lululemon shorts. And I was like, they're $75. No. And they're like, we have to go. And I was like, fine. So we go in, and the experience I had, I will wear Lululemon all the time, because I went in, and they were so nice to me, and I felt like they cared about me as a human. I was just buying leggings, but they cared about me. And they offered to take me to a dressing room that had 3 mirrors. I could see myself at every angle. I think I was skinnier. They made the pants a little smaller, so I feel better about the size I bought. And then they save it in a digital database where I can log in, and I don't have to remember the freaking amount of inches my pants are. I can just be like, yes, I want to reorder those. And my husband goes, because I was walking around, I was like, do you want to feel my pants? And he was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, they're so soft. So I'm so impressed. And so to me, that's every piece of that experience was top notch. And now I'll wear Lululemon all the time.
Yeah.
I still have my Holy leggings.
Yeah. Not necessarily part of their advertising strategy though, right?
No, and nothing about their advertising made me go, I want to go in there. But it took literally someone forcing me in, and I was like, the experience was top notch. And that's what I've seen. They've done a really great job of, once you try it, you're coming back. And so, same idea. If you know about them, you've gone in, you love them, or you may not know about them. Same idea as the Museum of Ice Cream.
Okay, so now the international or multi-market question.
So every museum is different. So we constantly are telling people, hey, all year long we change our exhibits. All year long, every city is different. It's still about human connection. It still ends with a sprinkle bowl, because you have to. But you have a different experience depending on if you're in Singapore or in Chicago or in New York, where we have the largest indoor slide in New York City, which, in case you're wondering, as an adult, I tried to skip it, and the guy wouldn't let me. And when you talk about experience, our employee didn't know who I was. He goes, come over here. He goes, where are you from? I said, Wisconsin. He goes, I love Wisconsin. And he took my mind off the fact that I was about to get in a tube that I don't know how long it was, and I don't know the last time I went down the slide. And he's like, I said, I'm a little nervous. He's like, you're going to be fine. His name's Moni. He's amazing. And I sit down on the slide, and he goes, all right, girl, I got you. I love you. Goodbye. And he shoved me down the front. And I came out the end of that slide giggling like a small child. And now if I'm ever stressed, I'll look at, so we all have ice cream names at Museum of Ice Cream. You guys can all have ice cream names when you come to it. It's the first thing you do. In fact, we launched SMS recently, and the first thing you can do is we built an AI you and sends it right back to you. But, so, when I talk about my employees, like I'll end up on like a partner call, we do a lot of partnerships, and I'll be like, hey, sprinkles, blah, 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 and then I'm like, oh, we have ice cream. Sorry, like that's not like my pet name for her. Anyway, I'm squirrels. But we'll be stressed in meetings, and I'm like, hey, Marshmallow, let's go. We're going down the slide. And he's like, I have my computer. I was like, I don't care. Going down the slide. You cannot be joyful. You cannot giggle and have fun and go, this is my job. This is what I get to do for a living. And so that's the experience we want people to have. And yes, it's different everywhere you go.
Yeah. You just mentioned y'all have a lot of partnerships, a lot of collaborations. We were just talking about that. How do you think about prioritizing which ones to go after? What makes sense both for you and the management?
Shockingly, just like for like different partnerships, right? I work with a lot of ice cream. February, we did a partnership with Kinder Scott. Kinder came to us, they said, we want to create a custom ice cream. We want to do something fun and different. And it was about like, all right, what are you trying to achieve? What are we trying to achieve? How can we work together? What's the big idea here, right? It turns out when you dive for jewelry in a sprinkle pool, it's a win. I enjoyed it as well, right? It was a great kind of love campaign for us in February. During Black History Month, we also worked with local Black ice cream partners. So here in Chicago, there's Ida's Artisanal Ice Cream. Ida is from North Lawndale. When the pandemic hit, she lost her job. She was like in banking. She nailed it, right? But she lost her job, and she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do. She was sitting at her dining room table, imagine clutter everywhere, and she like kicked her ice cream machine she had bought to do something fun with her kids, and she's like, maybe I'll make ice cream. And everyone's like, okay. And so she started making it, and people loved it. She's throwing in red velvet cake, like it's delicious. It is some of the best ice cream I've ever had. Anyway, she moved into an incubator space. Again, an underprivileged area in downtown Chicago. She was able to start doing really well. We partnered with her. We said, let us purchase your ice cream from you and serve it in our museum. We did. She started flying off the shelf. She's opening her own ice cream parlor here in Chicago because of that. So when we look to partner and collaborate with different companies, we do it because do they match our core values? Is there something that wins for them at the same time it wins for us? And we work like here, again, Chicago, Dove, work with Dove a lot. We've worked with Under Armour, we've worked with Nike. I was on the phone with Mattel, right? Like clearly.
You'll do Crocs yet?
No. Maybe someday. I think I'm in the boat of like, what? Why do we wear these? But I'm sure I would love them. So it's do the core values match? What are they looking to achieve? What are we looking to achieve? And then let's build what that idea looks like together. We'll come to them with ideas. We'll say, here's something it could look like, right? Friendlies on the East Coast came to us and said, we want to partner with you. We've done ice cream, lipstick in Sephora. We've worked with MAC. We've worked with Benefit. We've worked with makeup turned out really well for us. We've had ice cream lines in Target. We're the biggest ice cream line in Japan, right? We sell the most ice cream in Japan with Museum of Ice Cream. So we do really well with these things, but it's a collaborative process. It's not us just being like, we should do this, or let's just put our logo on it. It's about how do we partner together and how do we both achieve something great.
Sure. We've got a few minutes left. Any questions from the crowd?
We're all hungry.
I wanted to bring ice cream.
I tried.
Have you had, I feel like this is a culmination of the past couple of weeks where everyone's been talking about the ice cream museum. And, but they've all been talking about the hot dog flavor. Have you had it?
Oh, yeah. 100%. So, again, every museum's different. In Chicago, we have, when you go into one of our exhibit rooms and immersive experiences, after you play like mini golf and like climb on different things, you end at a hot dog cart. And they hand you a bread bun that's pink, because why not? And then they put hot dog flavored ice cream in it. And you have the option to put real mustard and relish on it. So the first time I went to the museum, they're like, you have to have the real experience. And I was like, I think it's so cute. And they're like, no, it's going to be great. I'm like, okay. There's a reason it's the size it is. And there's a reason there's a trash can next to it. But there's legit people that love it. Like, they're like, it was so good. And I was like, I don't understand. But it's definitely unexpected. And in case you were like, man, bucket list, hot dog flavored ice cream, now you know where to go get it.
It tastes really, I've had it.
Oh.
It really tastes like a hot dog.
Is that an endorsement or a?
Yeah, 5 stars.
It's shocking. Really, you didn't know you were like this really weird experience, but interesting.
In the back?
Erin, other than hot dog flavored ice cream with mustard and sauerkraut, what is like the most fun activation you guys have ever done? Because I know that's a big question, being that you guys are all about fun and all about customer experience, but I'd love to hear what you found the most exciting.
Inside or outside of like?
Oh, by the way, Ted Rubin, so ex-brand Innovators. Outside or inside, you pick it.
Okay. Whew. So for National Ice Cream Day, we celebrate. It's right up our alley. This year, we thought, let's go big. And internally, we also design and produce all of our museums internally. If you can believe that, like our design team is like 3 people. And it's unbelievable what they're able to achieve. So we said, let's bring our experience everywhere we can. So here in Pioneer Court, which is right outside, like in between the Apple store and the Tribune building on the Mi'kmaq, we built a 50-foot sprinkle pool and served ice cream. We worked with Dove here. In the East Coast in New York, we went to Hudson Yards and we're like, hey, how do you feel about us just like build an ice cream pool here, or a sprinkle pool here? And they're like, okay. We're like, also, you're gonna have to provide security. And they're like, okay. They were super great to work with. So right in front of the vessel, we built a 60-foot sprinkle pool and had tables and chairs, and we worked with friendlies. And then in Austin, Texas, we have an ice cream truck there, which is great because it gets a little warm. And we went down in South Congress and we had a big pop-up fun experience there. Singapore, we did it in Singapore Plaza, all on the same weekend, and we built all of these sprinkle pools and activated it internally. And I think my heart rate was like 165 for like 6 hours one day because we were just working our butts off. And I have videos because we promoted it, right? And the hope as a marketer is that you've done a good enough job, right? It's like promoting a party and you're like, I hope someone shows up. And you don't really know because it's a free event to share joy with people. And you're like, well, at least somebody's going to show up because people have to walk through Hudson Yards, right? Like they have to walk through, so they're going to want ice cream. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's free. Like it's going to be super chill. So all of a sudden we're getting closer to the launch time. There's a line of 3,000 people. 3,000 people. It goes through Hudson Yards to the point where Hudson Yards is like, we're gonna have to send out more security. People waited in line for over 3 hours to play in a sprinkle pool for 5 minutes and get one thing of ice cream. My brain could not fathom. Do you know what I'll stand in line for? Nothing. Nothing. If the McDonald's line is like 2 people deep, I'm like, not worth it. We don't do it. So I'm not gonna stand in line for anything. People stand in line and they were joyful and they were excited and we played with them. And our co-founder came out, Manish Vora, and our other co-founder, Mariel Spun. Manish is standing there and he's like, let's dance. And we had music going. And it was the most joyful experience in each of these cities for 2 days that we could bring to people. And we brought out in each of our museums, so when you talk about activations in the museum, we have connection cards. We have a lot of ice cream puns that we use, and sprinkle with love, right? Connection cards are all about connection. It's like a bingo card. It's like, can you connect with a stranger? Go have a compliment battle with someone. Go hug someone. Ask for permission. But hug someone. And that's wonderful. It's this ability about driving connection. And so when we design things, when we look at what things look like, it fails if you're just like, I think someone could take a picture in this room. We don't want to do that. We want to focus on what are they going to do together in this room? What are they the game gonna look like? What's the treat gonna look like that they get in this room? And so like for Halloween, next week are launching our Halloween drinks. There's a kid's drink, it could have alcohol in it too, called a Bloody Shirley Temple. And it's an IV bag. And they get a straw. So imagine a little kid walking around with an IV bag full of blood, drinking it through a long straw. It's gonna be so joyful. It's gonna be amazing. So, and that's just one of them. We have tons of treats. We have black cotton candy, which we'll see if it, like, I don't know, it sounds good. But there's so many different fun things like that, and we get to do that through everything we touch. Whether it's external and it's building a sprinkle pool to play together, or if it's internal and it's connecting or giving a random stranger a hug. And I'll be the first to say, like, I walk up and hug people and I'm like, oh, you're not a hugger? I'm really sorry. Like, are we fist bumping? I didn't know. Sorry about that. But it's about connecting.
Love it. I think
Oh man.
we're about out of time, so thank you so much,